implications of drug abuse on the youth and society, citing the current challenge of insecurity in the country as one of the consequences. Authorities were urged to come up with a Marshall Plan to curb the menace and clamp down on drug dealers, while relevant agencies should embark on sensitization campaigns to address the problem. In other news, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says no amount of pressure and intimidation will make the federal government bend backwards in accepting that there was a massacre at the Lekki toll gate during the NSAS protest in October last year. Anthony Forson reports.
It was meant to be a peaceful protest against police brutality, and the federal government accepted to implement the demands of the protesters. But in quick twist, the peaceful protest turned violent with massive looting and destruction of public and government property. Security agents became vulnerable as they were attacked and killed. In the wake of this violence, the federal government directed that state governments set up judicial panels of inquiry to investigate the allegations. Lagos State had completed its assignment and submitted its report. However, the report was leaked. While some have condemned the report, others have resorted to vilifying the federal government. In setting the record straight, Information and Culture Minister pointed at errors contained in the report as follows. The report has no signature. The report contains many errors and inconsistencies. The report did not confirm military shot directly at the protesters. Contradiction in figures. A man who counted 11 bodies was not in to testify in person. The report was equally silent on family members who lost relatives. The man who saw his brother's dead body ended on the list as deceased. Names listed in the report could be fictitious. There are concoctions, and there was no mention of security personnel killed or injured, as well as their stations burnt with vehicles. With this discovery, Lai Mohammed says the report lacks merit.
There is absolutely nothing in the report that is circulating to make us change our stand that there was no massacre at the Lekki toll gate on October 20th, 2020. For us to change our stand, a well-investigated report of the incident that meets all required standards and will withstand every scrutiny must be produced and presented to the public.
While CNN was quick to celebrate the report with a handful of some local media platforms.
Lastly, an attempt to verify government at all costs. They have done themselves a great disservice. How can any news organization worth its salt write an editorial validating this kind of report? Are they not seeing what others, including journalists and lawyers, are seeing? In a shocking twist, a Nigerian newspaper chose to hail what it calls detailed investigation report by CNN.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has announced a 13-member task force to oversee and deliver the audience measurement service on Nigerian media platforms. In a statement by Segun Adeyemi, Special Assistant to the President on Media in the Office of the Minister, said the approval followed the recommendation of the task force's membership by the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, and the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria, APCON. It directed the NBC and APCON to collaborate to set a framework for the operations and activities of the task force in order to ensure that the audience measurement service comes into effect in the first quarter of 2022. APCON and the NBC had earlier announced the appointment of First Media and Entertainment Integrated for the development and delivery of audience measurement service on Nigeria media platforms in order to deepen advertising, improve the advertising and broadcasting ecosystem, and increase investment in advertising and broadcast media content. The 13-member task force is chaired by Tolu Ogunkoya. Into fighting crimes against humanity, critical actors in the fight against sexual and gender-based violence are advocating the establishment of special courts to fast-track justice for the violated. This was at a forum on sexual and gender-based violence in Abuja as the 16 days of activism counts down to strengthen the campaign against the menace commences.
For years,
There have been calls for the establishment of special courts in Nigeria to guarantee effective legal protection, access to justice, and remedies for survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. This forum seeks to amplify the need for special courts in the judicial process of sexual and gender-based violence cases.
Justice delayed is justice denied. And we are saying no to all the thousands of cases that are left unattended to in our courts. Women and children that are being violated are too huge. The number is too huge to be ignored.
But one thing I speak on behalf of the CJN, he is very open to making sure that within all that he can do, that these courts will be put in place to be able to deal with it.
Identifying crimes where such provisions have facilitated effective justice delivery, speakers noted Lagos as a model for other states in Nigeria to emulate.
The European Union is focusing on fighting impunity and on the need for increased prosecution of offenders. The European Union has supported the establishment of sexual assault referral centers across the country.
The important thing for us is to ensure that every violator faces justice.
Evidence collection, its storage, and analysis, intelligence gathering, as well as prosecution of offenders were part of the issues raised. We're in the Orange Week, which signals the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And the flashlight for action is on girls' safety in this report by Salwa Khalil Ibrahim.
On a daily basis, someone somewhere among the female folk is abused.
The largest increase was among young girls in the 15 to 19 age group, and we found this alarming.
Every November in the last 3 years, the world wears the orange color for 16 days to amplify action against the pandemic called gender-based violence.
16 days to make others aware that we must shout out and speak out and put an end to gender violence.
Apart from creating this awareness, we need a lot of work to do with parents and even children themselves, how to prevent themselves. We do this in school, we do this in communities.
Despite provision of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, stakeholders say the girl child continues to be at the receiving end of sexual and gender-based violence.
Because there is denial, especially at the community level, and when the children of big men or big men themselves are involved, those cases tend to be hidden.
The advocacy nonetheless continues, and Tabitha Kumi Foundation beams its flashlight on girls' safety this year with support for 750 marginalized adolescent girls in selected communities in the FCT, Nasarawa, and Niger states.
And so flags will create safe spaces in the community for learning. So in the next 16 days, there'll be sustained action from us as an organization to speak out about this, to build a support base for the girls that we work with, to prevent, to refer, and to respond to gender-based violence.
The 16 days of activism is a United Nations declaration against gender-based violence. Within this period, the world shall be speaking with one voice to end gender-based violence. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
It's another 16 days of activism to stop gender-based violence. Basita Ikpang in this report takes a look at the concept of name and shame, pointers to perpetrators, and the need to collectively end the menace in society.
The United Nations General Assembly 1993 defined violence against women as any act that results or likely to result in physical, sexual, or psychological suffering to women, which manifests itself in various forms.
This is an effort which requires a collective action and engagement. This is something that requires actions at different levels, which requires a multidimensional and comprehensive approach from the legal approach to the judicial response.
We have a law that criminalizes rape. So for instance, you're raped, you can get justice, and that person is going to maybe like 14 years imprisonment, and then the person is supposed to even pay a fine of damages to you, the victim.
Those whose rights are being violated should be encouraged to speak out. If they are able to speak out, those who are oppressing them or violating them will be taking caution, because they now know that anything they do in secret will be brought to open.
This is something that is within us. We have to tell ourselves the truth, and we have to solve these problems by ourselves, especially among women and children.
Every year we celebrate a theme, and then what happens after that? We have more cases on our hands. You know, there should be need for an M&E, monitoring and evaluation, to know whether we are actually following that theme.
The International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. It runs through the 10th of December, Human Rights Day. The theme for this year is Orange the World, Stop Violence Against Women. Basi Taipan, NTA News.
In the studio with me to talk more on the 16 days of activism is Lola Ibrahim. She's a gender activist, advocate actually, and president of Women Against Violence and Exploitation. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ibrahim, for joining us on the news.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure always.
Yeah. We've listened to a couple of reports. So looks like tackling gender, sexual and gender-based violence is a Herculean task. Why is it so difficult? What are the challenges you as an actor face in eliminating this menace?
It's a multidimensional problem that we're tackling.
Okay.
And with the COVID-19 pandemic, the violence against women and girls increased. Initially, we used to say it was 1 in every 3. But the UN reports and the data gathered from about 13 countries, it's now 2 women in every 3 that is being violated. And why are the numbers increasing? Is because a lot of these women do not have access to justice, and even when they report, the relationship between the different agencies that handle these cases, it's a slow process. And that discourages a lot of people, survivors, so to say, from coming forward, because when you report a case and you don't get justice as at the time due, or when the justice is even delayed, it emboldens the perpetrator, and then, you know, those acts keep occurring. And another factor is the fact that some of these women come from very, very poor backgrounds, and the perpetrators are sometimes stronger, richer, you know, more influential, and that is a burden also on the victims. And then policies, we have policies, but the implementation is slow.
Okay.
You know, so that also affects.
That's another challenge.
That's another challenge.
Now, from the report, one of the reports we actually watched, looks like Lagos State is the only state with a specialized court. Why are other states foot dragging?
I think it's lack of political will.
Okay.
It's lack of political will, because when you have people make promises during their campaign, and then when you even look at the population, you look at the demographics, we have more women who are eligible voters, and then we have more men at the helm of affairs.
Okay.
So why is it Lagos State only that has special courts? Because we do not push enough. CSOs need to do more. We need to do more advocacy, we need to speak out more, and we need to ensure that those we put at the helm of affairs actually have the interest of women at heart, not just during campaign they make those promises and they don't fulfill them.
So what should we be telling our girls?
Our girls, we need to
and our boys as well, because most times people say we forget to groom the boys.
No, that's not, it's the society that has, you know, put that mindset in the boy child that is superior to the girl child. So what we need to tell both sexes is they are equal. And that's what we advocates are asking for, equity. And I don't think that's too much. So we need to tell girls that they are valid. We need to tell girls that what a boy can do, the girl too can also do it. And we need to make both of them understand the importance of having girls go to school and not just boys. And when girls know that if they can, you know, if they have the power, they can do more, they can excel, they'll be willing to go to school and, you know, just generally fulfill their potentials.
Okay. Now, every year we actually commemorate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. What are critical stakeholders doing to ensure that if we have reduced figures? Because the reports we've been having, the figures are really not, they are disturbing actually.
That's true. It is sad to know that in spite of the efforts that advocates do, you know, we still have a lot of these cases. I think what advocates need to do is to provide social support nets for victims, yes. So when victims know that when they report, you know, they have the full support and nobody will doubt. And then sometimes the victims themselves or even their families put pressure on the victims to withdraw these cases. So you see, it's double-pronged. Victims need to come out and report, and they need to be able to go through. So advocates need to provide social support for victims and let them know that, look, your confidentiality is secured, you know, when you report. And then we need to expedite judicial systems. We need to have different agencies handling different cases come together rather than, you know, work separately or as rivals. Exactly, we need a synergy between NAPTI, between the police, between the judiciary, even between sister CSOs. CSOs doing the same thing need to align. The space is wide enough, but the people need to see exactly what we are doing, and they need to be reassured that if they come forward with their cases, they will get the justice they deserve.
Justice as it is. Mrs. Lola Ibrahim, thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for coming on the news.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're watching Nationwide on NTA. Time now to head to Lagos, where Hingino is standing by. Nice to see you, Hingino.
Thank you, Lizzie. Taking advantage of the projected population of Lagos, the natural resources and the environmental challenges are some of the issues on the front burner at the second Nordic Nigeria Connect. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the opening of the event expresses the readiness of the state to attain the status of a smart city. Samuel Johnson reports.
We have investors here, we have people that are bankable.
Afolabi Ayela, a private investor, and Odumboni, a technocrat in the public sector, are participants at the meeting which brings investors and experts from the Nordic nations of Norway, Sweden, Finland and Denmark together with their Nigerian investors to explore collaboration and business opportunities.
We have all the resources they need to be able to support them, and the state is happy to go into any PPP arrangement with anyone.
We have these foreign companies that have equipment, that have projects that can be deployed here.
For the government of Lagos State, the 88 million projected population of the state by the year 2050 and the challenges of power supply, transportation, housing and waste management, among others, are areas of interest for business opportunities for the state to attain the status of a smart city.
We are delighted that many of our investors are seeing in Lagos a deeply committed government that want to advance the desired goods of climate resilience and environmental friendliness.
Resident representative of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, and the Deputy Minister of International Trade in Finland say Nigeria has potentials that foreign investors can take advantage of.
Let's use smart infrastructure, let's get the private sector involved, let's look how to make Lagos greener and Lagos' ability to deal with climate change. So there's a lot of pieces that needs to be done today to start confronting the challenges of the future.
We are ready to offer Nigeria and Lagos a digital economy, be it education, be it health, be it waste management.
Ambassadors of the Nordic nations facilitated the meeting. In Lagos, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, is soliciting the Corporation of Broadcast Stations to promptly pay all their outstanding debts to avoid withdrawal of their operational license. Director General of the Commission, Malam Balarabe Ilela, stated this at a day meeting with Commissioners of Information and Broadcast license owners in the South-South, Southeast, and Southwest geopolitical zones of Nigeria.
Worried by the huge debts owned by some licensees and the effects on its operations, the National Broadcasting Commission called for a stakeholders meeting to strategize on how to encourage broadcast stations comply with directives on payment of fees. Director General, NBC, Malam Balarabe Ilela, agreed that the economic challenges facing the nation calls for more understanding from the Commission. He, however, enjoined stakeholders to cooperate with the Commission for better service delivery.
We need to come together and assist the Commission because we have a lot of things to do, and if we are not getting what we are supposed to get from the Commission, that is if they don't pay what they are supposed to pay to the Commission, definitely we cannot serve them better. And I think they have gotten the message and they are willing to do something.
On payment of 2.5% on annual income by broadcasting stations, stakeholders unanimously raised concern over the issue. They agreed that such payment will be difficult to comply with considering the current economic realities.
It's practically impossible to pay 2.5% on income. You know, that's clearly different from paying 2.5% of profit, because it means that every resource that comes in, even if it's what you're using as capex and opex, you'll be paying 2.5 on that.
Once you have a strong regulator, the better for us all. The moment they have a middle ground where everybody is comfortable and is able to play his or her own role, the better for our country.
NBC has a right to ask for some of the things they've been demanding for, but the reality is that the money is not available. And I'm sure beyond the financing and the payment of license fees, and there's so many issues that have come up today.
The Commission, however, assured licensed owners of continuous engagements to improve the sector. In Lagos, Ruth Ariel Samuel, NTA News.
We pause here for some messages. When we return, the news continues from our Sokoto Network Center, where Sadia is standing by.
The scripture says there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. The Christian Reformed Church Nigeria, CRC Nigeria, is inviting the entire body of Christ to the retirement service of our president, the Reverend Dr. Caleb Osheka Solom Ahima, from active pastoral service. Chairman of the occasion, former Judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Paul Adamu Galunji, retired. Special guest of honor, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Taraba State, Akedare Dixon Ishaku, the Akimpu Korova. Guest of honor, Senator Emmanuel Boacha CON, Senate Deputy Minority Leader. Guest Speaker, Archbishop Manuel Bappa, LCCN Emeritus. Father of the Day, former Minister of Defense, Lieutenant General Tiwa Njuma, retired, the Abota Okari. Mother of the Day, former Chief Judge of Taraba State, Honorable Justice Josephine Yakubu Tuktu, retired. Royal Father of the Day, His Royal Highness Garadonga Samvala Varzua Shimbura Gadbanyi II. Host, CRC Nigeria Headquarters. Chief Host, Reverend Sagarga Gargaya Muvoga, CRC Nigeria General Secretary. Date 27 November 2021. Time 10 a.m. Venue CRC Nigeria number 1 Takum. To God be the glory. Announcer, Publicity Subcommittee.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria, pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
The Apostolic Church Nigeria, Abuja FCT Metropolitan Area, Lona Territory, presents her third annual convention. Theme, Behold the Bridegroom Cometh, Matthew 25 verse 6. Date, Friday 26th to Sunday 28 November 2021. Venue, FCT Metropolitan Area Headquarters, Plot 494, Durumi District, Gariki, Abuja, FCT. Pre-convention revival holds Sunday 21st to Thursday 25th November. Theme, Mountains, shoot forth your branches. Ezekiel 36 verse 8. Ministry evangelists, Pastor D.O. Oweye, Pastor S.O. Shodipo, Pastor D.A. Ogunlade, Pastor E.O. Akindumila, Pastor C.O. Olanlokun, Pastor G.O. Ajayi, Pastor J.A. Ayola, Pastor S.O. Ajibola, Pastor I.O. Fadipe, Convener, Pastor Dr. E.S. Awujide, National Vice President and Lona Territory Chairman, Overseer I.A. Edet, Secretary Planning Committee, Pastor J.O. Alo, Chairman Planning Committee. Your faith in Christ shall be deepened as you attend this convention.
Still there, and welcome to Sokoto. As part of efforts to check rural urban migration, the federal government has provided township roads and street lights for Dogondaji town area of Tambwa local government, Sokoto State. Sheikh Muhammad Detti reports that the roads and other basic amenities provided by the federal government in some communities were inaugurated.
Dogondaji is one of the biggest districts in Tambwa local government, and people of the area are majorly farmers and petty traders. This informed the decision of government through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to construct a 3.5-kilometer road across Dogondaji town, in addition to the provision of 45 units of street lights. The aim is to provide the evidence of democracy to the doorstep of the electorate and by extension open up the rural areas. These basic amenities were inaugurated at a brief ceremony chaired by the district head of Dogondaji, Nasiru Shehu Umar, who commended federal government for coming to their aid. Vice Chairman, Tambol Local Government Bello Mohammed Jabu said the construction of the township roads will ease movement of goods and services.
All these projects are for their benefits, and whatever happened to this project in the way of subguarding it or sabotage the government effort will not allow it.
Also provided by the federal government was a solar-powered borehole at Lugu community area of Wamoko local government. People of the area were full of praises to the federal government for providing safe drinking water for them. The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, also constructed a 0.3-kilometer road at Tudungwada area in Sokoto South local government. The road was inaugurated amidst commendation by benefiting communities.
And we know quite well that whatever food or whatever crops you produce, you need good road network for it to be transported to the market.
The benefiting communities were all enjoined to own and protect the projects from vandalization. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
No fewer than 29 women in Zamfara State have developed psychiatric disorder as a result of their involvement in drugs abuse in recent times. Zamfara State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency confirmed this at a community sensitization against illicit drugs held at the Emir of Gauran Namoda's Palace. Jamil Ibrahim has more.
Drug abuse has over the years been identified as a major factor foiling crimes and other social vices bedeviling the society. The launching of the war against drug abuse by the Kauranamoda Zonal Office of the NDLEA is aimed at strengthening collaboration with traditional and religious leaders, as well as other major stakeholders in fighting the menace.
The National Union of Road Transport Workers, they are drivers. They are the ones that convey and carry most of this illicit consignment to our various destinations. That's why they are very critical in this awareness.
Deputy Commander Narcotics NDLEA Zamfara State Command, who presented a paper at the event, says the involvement of youths in drug abuse in the northwestern part of the country has taken a wider and frightening dimension, with women becoming more involved.
About 29 women from Zamfara State have developed psychiatric disorder resulting from abuse of drugs from 2015 to 2020.
We are confident that this traditional institution is the best mechanism, is the best driver of our message into the grassroots.
The Emir of Kauranamoda, Alhaji Sanusi Muhammad Ahmad Asha, assures of his Emirate Council's continued support towards the success of the campaign. The meeting provided a forum for questions and answers, as well as discussion on the best way to achieving a drug-free society, as the participants pledged to extend the message to their respective subjects. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's now back to Elizabeth in Abuja.
Thank you, Sadia. President Muhammad Buhari rejoices with Prince Arthur Eze on the occasion of his 73rd birthday. The president joins family, friends and well-wishers in celebrating a man who, through dint of hard work and good fortune, devoted his resources to helping those in need, reaching out generously to underprivileged families, communities, academic, religious and health institutions. President Buhari is delighted that Prince Eze has used his massive investments in the oil and gas sector to contribute to the development of the nation's economy, provide gainful employment to many Nigerians, and extended his business empire beyond the shores of the country. As the Ozo Igbondu marks another year, the president prays God Almighty to grant him good health, happiness and peace, with more fruitful years to serve God and humanity. The aide-de-camp to the president, Colonel Yusuf Mukhtar Dodo, has been decorated with new rank. President Muhammadu Buhari performed the ceremony, which presided the meeting of the National Security Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
Assumed duty as aide-de-camp to President Muhammadu Buhari on the 22nd of February this year, Colonel Yusuf Dodo is a member of the 50th regular course of the Nigerian Defense Academy. The Katsina-born officer was commissioned second lieutenant in the Nigerian Army Corps of Military Police in September 2003. A graduate of political science and defense studies, Colonel Dodo holds 3 master's degrees in public administration from the University of Calabar, international affairs and defense studies from the NDA, as well as criminal justice from Kaduna State University. He was at various times the officer commanding Tradok Provost Company, 31 Artillery Brigade Provost Company, military observer, United Nations mission in Darfur, as well as an instructor and directing staff at NDA and the prestigious Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji.
I thank the Almighty Allah for making it happen. Secondly, I equally feel elated. It is a sign of recognition of hard work and, of course, of more responsibilities coming along my way. It gives me more zeal to do my job the way it should be done, with loyalty to the latter.
Described in his citation as a very resourceful officer, Colonel Yusuf Dodo was until his appointment as aide-de-camp to President Muhammadu Buhari, the adjutant of the Nigerian Defense Academy. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army is taking steps to address post-traumatic stress disorder amongst its personnel, particularly those on the front line. A seminar was organized by the Army hierarchy to raise awareness on the theme, mental health awareness and post-traumatic disorder in perspective. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports.
Personnel of the Nigerian Army have remained resolute in the battle to secure the territorial integrity of the country, but this is not without a price, notably trauma, which in most cases lead to post-traumatic stress. The hierarchy of the Nigerian Army is organizing seminars to manage the phenomena amongst the ranks and files.
The department is collaborating with the Army Medical Corps to lead the promotion of transformation efforts to achieve reduced operational risk, increased efficiency, and improved operational effectiveness. Ultimately, at the end of the seminar, we want to be able to match theory with practice.
In consonance with my command philosophy of prioritizing the Nigerian soldier, I'm particularly glad to note that this maiden seminar is a step in the right direction in raising awareness and addressing post-traumatic stress disorder amongst troops.
Gallant operations against enemies of the state. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy, in collaboration with other maritime bodies, have flagged off the survey and charting of lower rivers, Niger and Benue in Ajaokuta, Kogi State. This is in line with the federal government's diversification policies to improve economic viability of the nation through its waterways. Francis Odojo will bring us details of this report in our subsequent bulletin. Efforts efforts by the Police Service Commission and the Nigeria Police Force are yielding the desired results in the ongoing recruitment exercise of 10,000 personnel into the constable cadre. Chairman, Police Service Commission, Musliu Adiola Smith, gave the hint at a press conference in Abuja. Francis Form reports.
Late present management of the force, all grey areas that hitherto appeared contentious have been resolved and the relationship revived.
For us and the current police management team, it is partnership in progress that works to provide Nigerians with a police force that serves the interests of the people and the nation.
The former IGP says, despite the daunting challenges, the Commission worked in providing a roadmap for the effective placing of Nigeria in line with the Commission's mandate.
The Commission has since formulated guidelines on police recruitment, which is meant to promote the creation and maintenance of a professional police workforce in Nigeria, which is capable of delivering an effective and efficient service that meets the needs of the public. The guidelines are also to encourage the recruitment of the best applicants through the 3 entry levels into the Nigerian police force.
To cover lost ground in the past, immediately after the completion of the 2020 recruitment exercise, another 10,000 will be recruited for the 2021 slot in line with the presidential directive. Francis Form, NTA News.
And Larry in our studio in Ibadan is standing by with some reports for us. Hello, Larry.
Hello, Elizabeth, and good to see you. Welcome to Ibadan. The fight against smuggling has received a boost as the Oyo-Osun Area Command of the Nigeria Customs was provided with 10 new fully kitted operational vehicles to enhance its operations. Custom Area Controller Adamu Abdulkadri said the command will continue to record success with added vehicles. Shola Wahid's report is here presented.
The Customs Area Controller Oyo-Osun Command expressed gratitude to the Controller General of Customs, Colonel Ibrahim Hamid Ali, retired, for the provision of the 10 vehicles, which has tremendously aided the operations of the command, with the seizure of 500 bags of foreign parboiled rice within few days.
All these are further reawakening the vigor and strategies in our anti-smuggling drive.
Adamu Abdulkadri explained that the command generated over 50 billion naira from January to October 2021.
A revenue which signifies 14.4% increase when compared to the same period in the year 2020, which recorded a figure of 43,631,491,418 naira and 30 kobo.
For the last quarter of the year, an array of seizures, including 5,046 50 kg bags of foreign parboiled rice, 22 bales of second-hand clothing, 1 unit of 2017 Honda Accord car, 1 unit of 2020 Toyota Jeep, and 525-litre kegs of petrol. He commended the gallant efforts of the officers of the command and stressed that the fight against smuggling will be intensified.
Performing their statutory role of nation building in every facet of the country's economy, corps members in a health outreach went to the grassroots in Ido local government area of Oyo State to attend to the health needs of the people. Larry Bilei has the details.
The tour of National Youth Service Scheme Health Initiative at the grassroots in Oyo State reached Ido local government communities where corps members, doctors, and other health practitioners attended to various health challenges of the people.
Since we have the manpower, we have the core doctors, we have the core medical personnel, the nurses, the pharmacists, the DG didn't feel that we take this health initiative to the rural people so that they can benefit, even if we don't have the drugs, at least be able to assess their medical health and prescribe what they can use to get better.
Beneficiaries of the health initiative expressed their gratitude for the gesture, describing the scheme by the corps members as a thing of pride.
Yeah, and on behalf of our people in the community, we appreciate what our NYC people did for our people. They check their BP, they examine what necessary from our people. So we really appreciate what they did.
Drugs were given free of charge according to individual prescriptions, and health counseling were not left out. In Ibadan, Larry Pileyi, NTA News.
Nationwide continues with Elizabeth in our Abuja studio after this break.
The Mpakoros ruling family of Abagi-Kodong and Abak local government area of Akwa Ibom State announced the passing away of their beloved husband, father, grandfather, father-in-law, brother and uncle, late Reverend Enefioke Demobot, aged 79. His remains will be led to rest after a funeral service to be conducted by Koibo Church 47A Korokoro Road, Abak, Akwa Ibom State. Date, Saturday, November 27, 2021. Venue, Government Primary School, number 1 Kpokporo Street, Abak, Akwa Ibom State. Time, 10 a.m. Sunday, November 28, 2021. Thanksgiving service at Koibo Church, 47A Korokoro Road, Abak. Time, 10 a.m. Let Reverend Enefioke Demobot have left behind his dear wife, children, grandchildren, sons-in-law, daughter-in-law, brothers, sisters, sister-in-law, and a host of other relatives, too numerous to mention, to mourn his demise. Adio Reverend Obot, Eti Etenyen, Teacher Obot, Sanga Sungo. Signed, Honorable Deaconess Christy Obot's wife, Engineer Betty Obot's son, Chief Mourner for the family.
Liverpool will look to mount the pressure on table toppers Chelsea when they welcome Southampton to Anfield. It's Liverpool versus Southampton this Saturday, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
You're still watching Nationwide. The Nigerian Union of Teachers FCT chapter has embarked on an indefinite industrial action. This followed the expiration of the 5-day warning strike to press home their demand for payment of the 30,000 minimum wage for the local education authority teachers by the 6 area councils. Hadiza Godwin Ebune has more.
Primary schools in the FCT have been shut down as Nigerian Union of Teachers embarked upon an indefinite industrial action due to the non-payment of 30,000 minimum wage and other arrears. The chairman, Nigerian Union of Teachers, FCT chapter, Stephen Nabai, said no teacher will return to the classroom until the new minimum wage is paid.
Why are they not available for discussion? Why would they just sit down on their own to come up with a draft of what they think we want and throw it to us? We will not take it. And until a meeting is held where all of us will sit down, this is what they have as an offer. This is what we can take. This is what we cannot take. Until that is done, the strike remains.
Meanwhile, FCT secondary schools have called off the strike following the intervention of the FCT minister, Muhammad Musa Bello, as issues concerned have been resolved.
The strike has been called off for the secondary school only.
The FCT administration says the payments for FCT teachers' promotion arrears for 2017 and 2018 will take effect from November 2021. Hadiza Godwin Ebune, NTA News.
To ensure safety and well-being of returnees at insurgency-affected areas in Adamawa State, the Northeast Development Commission, in collaboration with Make Safe Humanitarian Services, has organized a workshop in mine risk education for security volunteers in Adamawa State. Yusuf Jika reports.
120 participants from the 6 local government areas affected by insurgency have been equipped with requisite knowledge on how to identify and keep the community safe from explosive remnants of war at the troubled zones of the state. This is to further ensure the safety of the people as such unexploded ordinances littered at various locations by the circumstances of war poses serious threat not only to the people but animals and the environment. The lead resource person from Make Safe Humanitarian Safety Services, retired Air Vice Marshal Ibrahim Omar, said the resultant effect of war requires decisive approach to address the potential threat of improvised explosive device and the insurgency-affected areas, hence the collaboration with the Northeast Development Commission to achieve the said goal.
Once there is war, there is what we call military activity involving both the insurgents and the members of the armed forces. They use explosives, don't they? And most of those explosives, or some of those explosives, may not detonate.
They have trained us so many things and we gather so many experience about it.
Anything they see in their compound that is not normal, they should not touch.
We can aware people that see what's happening in our countries.
In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
The ravaging coronavirus has upscaled technology as the activity driver across sectors in every society. But the demands of these changes are a bit too much for the rural African woman. Consequently, gender activists at the 2021 Africa Women Conference in Rwanda shared thoughts for achieving gender sensitivity in the African project post-COVID-19. Olushaye Adiabu reports.
Much has been said about how the health system were overwhelmed and economies crashed across the globe due to the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. Yet not much emphasis has been placed on the opportunities that abound in the post-COVID-19 period.
It behoves on the government to map out workable strategies that will ensure the effective empowerment of women at all levels.
We need women who know, educated, enlightened women with skills, exposure.
This Nollywood star, Mona Lisa Chinda, explains how she was financially constrained as a result of the pandemic. Her experience of losing a means of livelihood is similar to many people. Mona Lisa and her co-stars in the entertainment industry are sharing ideas with key actors in women development on how they move their content to the social media platforms.
The expectation is that delegates from this conference will go home and see how they can practically, each one in your corner, see how you can encourage women, girls to take advantage of the ICT to improve their lives.
It's actually cheap technology. It doesn't always need to be something that's going to be extremely expensive that women in rural areas or in underserved areas not being able to afford, but now they can actually do a lot.
At this brainstorming event, delegates seek ways on how women across Africa can be ICT empowered towards actualizing their full participation in building an inclusive and sustainable post-COVID-19 economy. From Kigali, Rwanda, Olushaye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Talking health now, Nigerians have been urged to be conscious of expiry dates and products to avoid the dangers inherent in its consumption. This was highlighted at an awareness campaign by the Imo State Consumer Protection Council in Owerri. Doris Alex reports.
Every product usually comes with manufactured and expiry dates. While some people may be aware of this, some, however, fall short of checking for these all-important dates, despite its consequences. This awareness campaign by the Consumer Protection Commission, Imo State, is therefore geared towards alerting consumers on the need for a conscious effort at checking expiry dates on products before purchase. The Director General of the Commission, Obioma Okafor, says citizens must know their rights to quality products and services, stressing that those who engage in the sale of adulterated products will face prosecution.
In any transaction they are being shortchanged, that the Consumer Protection Council Imo State is there to protect their rights. They have the right to a safe transaction, and they have the right to seek redress whenever they are changed in any form of transaction that they have got.
Some who spoke with NTA News say the awareness is an eye-opener.
I would like you to expand more. Go to everywhere, even in the villages.
Yes.
Go and let people know they are right.
In this period of time, people bring a lot of things into the market, different kind of products, substandard products, some products without NAFDAC number.
Some places visited include the World Bank area and Relief Market. In Owerri, Doris Alex, NTA News.
Nigeria's Senator Oshodi celebrates election victory in the United States. This and more on Sports Updates.
Nigeria's Waheed Enitan